a range of questions, some of them leading this week. I'll see how far I get through them. Is Trump a force of good? And do you know if he has visited Epstein Island? Potentially, he is. That's all I can say at the time, until further proof. From my personal point of view anyway. You know, he has a lot of vipers around him. Can he bring the vipers down and really operate for the good? Or is he just stringing us along like all the others have done previously? Time will tell. Do I know if he's visited Epstein Island? To my knowledge, no. What is your opinion of Fulford? I'm starting to think he's a shill. Fulford is saying Trump has been to Epstein Island and that the cabal is blackmailing because there's a video going round of Trump killing someone. Like I said, I have no knowledge of him being to Epstein Island. Fulford, like a number of others, became changed or corrupted a long time back. Did the cabal start the truth movement as a program from the get-go, and if so, why? No. The people were demanding answers that they can't get from books. You know, there's a lot of people that were interested early on in the alt media about UFOs. It was probably the most, outside of sex, I think it was the second highest search on the original internet. You know, and everything kind of went on from there, and then suddenly people were coming forward and whistleblowers, and then they realised the public were paying too much attention to it, and then they started infiltrating it badly. And like I reported along a few years back, 90% of it is corrupted. Some would say 95 now, but no, they didn't set it up as a program. Did Kim the trustee get divorced? Yes. Did Kim get evicted from her home? No. The court records for that particular allegation state it was a forcible detainer hearing brought by her ex-husband, and the judgment was dismissed. No further judgments were entered onto the file. Was Kim involved in a UK company 10 years ago that went bankrupt and left owing the taxman £10,000? Yes, Kim was involved for that company for a total of 1 week during that company's whole tenure, and before that company went bankrupt, it was a short-term administration position. Does the Manor World Holding Trust exist? Yes, check the Liberia news item. For further reference of its existence, see the Leo Wanta report in January, also proving that it exists. For further reports, check Anna Von Wright's confirmed the trust exists and that Kim is the trustee. Since the trust is the world's money and each country will be given what is rightfully theirs, how will this resource be reinvested going forward if the world economics is going to change? Multi-loaded question there. Let's break it down because it needs to be broken down. I'm not too sure what you're referring is. How will this resource be reinvested going forward? there's a load of assets that need to be returned to the country, and so they will not be part of the trust. They will go back to the country. The world economics changing means we are going to an asset-backed form of economics, not a debt-based or fiat note, technically. And you have to have assets to support the new funds, or you have to have projects to support it. So being reinvested, the trust does make investments on and has done for thousands of years on minerals and resources, etc., which is then should have been put back towards the people, but we all know the previous trustee didn't do that. So hope that helps. Would you have any idea how I would break a binding spell? Well, it depends on what type. The UN was created to unite as many as possible nations against one enemy, the German Empire. That is not correct. That is just not correct. The enemy status against the German Empire has never been deleted, and until today Germany has no peace treaty. Now, Germany was the pawn in the game. I keep telling people countries don't matter to the cabal when they're planning. They just use different countries as pawns at certain times or eras. But if you think the UN was to fight Germany only, when you realise that the people who created the UN created the German Empire as well and funded both of it. It's all an illusion. And to get the peoples of that particular country and guilt complex for decades. Were there any German breakaway troops, civilizations defeating Admiral Boyd in Antarctica and fighting alongside other positive forces until today against the cabal? Or have German troops been completely swallowed as SSP? There was more than one German breakaway group. There was more than one SS. Was the problem. There was SS and SA. And some were with the fuel girls who thought they were actually helping, which went awry. And some used that technology to create the SSP. And there's no part of SSP that's part of the alliance. There is no alliance at all. The SSP is against humanity, always has done. And no, they're not all Germans. And now the SSP, the guy went on and says, perhaps they are an independent positive force. My feeling is this positive German group is still around, technologically highly advanced, and much more powerful than any other military organisation on earth like NATO. If they are still around, they are a huge part of a positive movement of the alliance against the deep state. Is that positive German group still here, working closely with the UPU? No, they're not. There is no alliance. It's an illusion perpetrated by rogue people on the alt media, period. So you wait around for the alliance to fix everything for you instead of doing it for yourself. We have seen the evidence of the SSP. Alaska saw the evidence of the SSP earlier this year. Paradise in California saw the evidence of SSP. Just really think that's positive? Because I don't. The alliance is also powerful, and they've got all this technology. Why aren't they stopping chemtrails? This is what people have to understand. You know, I would love there to be an alliance and be used as some sort of enforcement for the benefit of the people, but there's no evidence of it whatsoever. None. Just because someone puts it on their blog that there's an alliance and the SSP and the blue chickens are all coming to save us doesn't mean it's real. The evidence tells you otherwise. Otherwise, certain things would have happened long before now. There is no alliance. We have to create one. And we won't, with people relying on SSP and blue chickens to save us. Are the banks still operating in America and around the world going to be required to install a quantum system to secure transfers of the trust funds and the security of those funds once in place? Yeah, you've got that the wrong way around. The banks are inside the quantum system. The quantum system is not going inside banks. Will we live openly together with reptoids, Draco and other species here on Earth in the close future? No. Well, we do, but we won't in the manner you're asking. Or will those species all have gone, have died, or still hidden underground? Now, there's 39 species, as I understand, that are underground. And we won't be mixing with them anytime soon. Where are we next? As far as I understand, in Tartaria they use some kind of tower-like forms on the buildings to collect etheric energy. Is there anyone that has knowledge about building these or similar forms to collect etheric energy for ourselves? Someone will. Will they be allowed to get it out at this point? No. You know, hopefully one day soon we'd all love to see these advanced, well, it's not advanced, new technology. Hopefully will be cleaner and better for the planet and also cheaper for ourselves. But, you know, I am aware of a number of new energy, if you want to call it that, free energy, if you want to call it that. There's some contained within the files, within the trust, because Marduk collected it all. So his puppets collected more pieces of paper for old technology. If we use these forms in our own houses, especially with people living in high buildings, it seems like a powerful energy tool for our benefit and for the area we live in. Yes, it would be, from what I gathered anyway. Do they have to be built on special energy lines or areas on Earth? Well, eventually, with certain energies kind of fluctuating around the planet, who's to say that Wi-Fi won't come from the planet rather than being outside of it? Think about that. And yes, it would be a great project if we could get it out for the trust. What is the Saturn Moon Matrix? It is a frequency-based overlay and relay system of mind control. Are the Archons AI? No. There's a lot of different opinions on what the Archons are, because of the mix-up in the book. Essentially, as I understand it, the jinns. Is the Hebrew race Middle Eastern people in general? No. They're not Middle Eastern, as proven by the haplogroup K mitochondrial DNA test. They are from all over, and yes, there are some that were from Middle East, but most of them originated nearer to India, or in India, and then migrated out from there. Ethiopia being one of them, Egypt being the main one. Were they really part of the slavery of Solomon in Egypt? Not in my opinion. Not the Hebrews anyway. The people were slaves, but the Hebrews were the enslavers. Are the UPU, the United Human Planets Fleet, and the Lyra, Pleiades, Andromedan blockade fleet all the same? I've never heard of the last two terms. Not saying they don't exist. They may well do. I can't be expected to know everything, but most of it comes under the banner of the UPU or the Galactic Council now. These other names different names pop up here and there. Half the time it's people putting their own labels on it. But again, if these United Human Planet Fleets and Lyra, Pleiadians, Andromeda blockade fleets, what are they doing? I know what the UPU have done, but what have the other two done? My suggestion is that they don't exist. Is the major opponent of positive forces the Draconian Central Empire and the returns of Sirius? Many, not just the Draco. Mantids, Greys, you name it. Tall Greys, small Greys, middle Greys. None of them have been beneficial here. After countless hours and playing sites, I cannot find the actual document you read to us last week about the Emergency Banking Act of March 9, 1933. You won't. I thought I made it quite clear last week. That was the history of the IRS. That was done by the team that was presented to Trump for, let's just say, reorganising the IRS. And yes, it mentioned the Emergency Banking Act of 1933 in it, because it was partly related to the IRS. Why is Russia flying military planes to Venezuela? Aid, as I understand it. And to keep an eye on rogue elements out of this country. Will we be able to hear or read the appeal made to the council? No. Is there any truth to the purported cartel signalling system being used to inform millions of changes to the plan? They have many, go by many names. I don't know who came up with that particular term, but they have many ways of communicating. Dark web, Five Eyes, the AP, that's just a few. Echelon, GCHQ, you name it. NSA, there's all kinds of backdoors everywhere. But I've not heard the term cartel signalling system. Do you think we are going to be entering the 1,000 years of the Golden Age soon, or is it more cabal propaganda? Based on some of these questions, perhaps not. Not yours in particular, I might add. I'm talking about some of the ones previously answered. That's up to us. That's entirely up to we the people. Whether we get... Why is it just got to be limited to 1,000 years? That's limitation again, is it not? If it was put out that it was 100 years, why are we limiting ourselves to 100 years of the Golden Age, or 1,000 years? What is the Golden Age? You'll probably get 20 different. Ask 20 people what's the Golden Age, you're probably going to get 20 different answers. To me, the Golden Age is everyone being fed, clothed, sheltered, energy, water, clean water. That may not apply to many other people, but that would appear to be a golden age to 60% on this planet that doesn't have those 5 basic needs of life. It's all about perspective again, is it not? Can we see the peace treaty signed? You will have to ask the tribal people for that. It's a sacred document. Maybe they will show it to you. More likely is no. But I'd like to ask a question back on this. Have you wrote a letter to Donald Trump asking for the signed peace treaty with North Korea? If not, why? And do you expect you'll be granted that request? Can we see proof that Marduk is dead? A picture. No, this is not some sort of TV show. I'm sorry if those that took part in that event didn't carry a camera or a smartphone for the benefit of the people who doubt those trying to help them. But bizarrely ignore those who are damaging them. Again, I will ask a question back. Do you have proof he's alive? How many other people or groups have you sent or asked questions for pictures of people who have died? We go from the white bearded man sitting on a throne to the white horned Draco sitting on the throne, and now we have Mother Matriarch Kim on the throne. Is it any wonder people ask lots of questions? Well, that is your assumption. And it's just a wrong assumption and low-level thinking. No one on this show has stated Kim is sitting on any throne. You elevating it is saying more about your status than about hers. No one is above anyone else here. Some may play more prominent roles, but that doesn't warrant false statements like Mother Matriarch Kim on the throne. Kim is the Master Sovereign. She stated that on the show, and everything under her is sub-sovereign. What did she issue? Joint. Does that suggest to you that she's Mother Matriarch sitting on her throne? Can we go to the Liberation of Earth and Humanity ceremony when it occurs? No. Of the original tribes, were any non-human? No. Can we know who the original tribes are without compromising their safety yet? Kim may have that list, I don't. Of the 150 confirmed killed the day M was taken out by the UPU and the team, were all non-human. As stated in the show, it was 168 that were taken out, not 150, and they were all of Marduk racial type, species type. Thomas, are you defender of the trust and the kingdom? Not relevant. Is Kim the fifth element? Not relevant. Does most of humanity have Draco DNA? Some have more than others. All have a reptilian cortex. Of the metals being traded off-world, what was the most valuable? And when will we start trading again? I don't know what's the most valuable, and again, it's not particularly relevant. And we will start trading again when humanity is brought up to scratch. Were children one of the products of being traded off-world? Yes, and Swiss Indo were one of the key components of that. If so, has this stopped? Yes. In the episode with Kim, you said you would do a soul session info history later on. Has that episode been done on soul evolution history or humans? Now, it depends on what you mean by soul session info, but yes, I've done several soul evolution history and human info shows since. Several. Where are we next? Is using source energy for manifestation more powerful with resonating positive emotion, or best done in a calm, centered and balanced state? The latter. So I've answered the latter, and you've then gone on and said, if the latter, how does one achieve positivity when one's mind state must be neutral? 45-55. Are there any Jesus or Anna type beings working on Earth now, or are they on their way? I can answer that several ways. One, it's looking for a saviour program, which we don't need. And two, it can be seen that all males are Jesus and all females are Annas, providing they do the work. It didn't turn out too well for Jesus or Anna, did it? The people largely ignored it, and they stood by while they were slaughtered. Would you be sending more of your teachers here? Because I'm sure I wouldn't. And you see some of the types of questions that I've had to answer today. the very few who try to help are questioned, pilloried, abused, threatened by the very people you're trying to save. So if you were an observer of this planet and you had a range of teachers, would you send them down?